Good morning and welcome back to Gaming with ADHD, where I am late. I haven't been here for a couple weeks. You probably all think I fell off a cliff. I did not fall off a cliff. Yeah. So anyways, I'm back. I'm sorry. It has been a couple of weeks. Not bad, but like constant cough and gross and just not enjoying any of it. So instead of trying to talk through a stream for a couple of hours, I just decided that I would take a break until I felt better. And so that's why I haven't been here. Trust me, folks, it's not because I don't love you anymore. So, anyways. But I have still been getting some painting done. Some of you may have noticed the miniature showcase videos that go up. Pretty much everything lately is stuff that I've gotten done since. I just did them offline. Mostly because I wanted to keep getting those videos out for everyone, and because they also help with the channel and getting more eyeballs on target. So there's that. But anyways, starting to actually feel better. Man, I'm actually feeling a lot better today. Been a bit of a struggle, but overall not too bad. So anyhow, so what am I gonna work on today? All right, so I've got two things on the table, and I am going to try and do both of them. All right, let's see here. So all right, so the first thing I got on the table is I've got a locust that is going to be a Dragon's Fury locust. Basically, this is like, well, I still got all that Clan Wolf Beta Galaxy stuff to work on, but for the most part, I mean, this is gonna. No, I've got a lot of Battletech I can still work on. Anyways, short answer, we're going to work on this guy. I want to get this one finished up. I think this will be the miniature showcase for Sunday. And then I also want to work on this Games Workshop miniature. This is the Red Gobbo. And his abominable snowman. So we're going to try this a little differently because I want to paint him separately and then glue him to the base. Mostly because if you'll notice, it doesn't give me a whole lot of room to paint the snowman if I leave it there. You also have to leave the snowman's head off because that way you can show off that there's a bomb underneath. So anyhow, we're gonna have some fun with that. See what we can do. But that is what I've got on the table. So it is December 20th, and we are 5 days away from Christmas morning. I don't know about the rest of you, but I am mostly prepared. Not entirely, but mostly. The sad thing is I mostly have to go and, Chris! Good morning, sir. Merry Christmas. Basically, I've just got to go find some things for the peanut gallery. Because it's always hard. If I leave the house, she's with me. So, like, trying to find something, especially something that I want to be a surprise, is really difficult. In addition, she has been, how shall we say, less than impressed when I try to surprise her. I do try. I'm just really bad at it. So, anyhow, but I've got a couple ideas. I mean, mostly me working overtime so that the budget is intact. I mean, the budget would be intact without it, but this just lets us clean up the budget, as it were. Anyways, as long as I keep doing that. Right, exactly. Like, it's... So it's one of those things where it's like... Okay, so I saw some meme and it's like... It was... Or, no, it wasn't a meme. It was some post about how... Like... Women have gotten ruined because... You know, nobody ever says no to them. And, like, I understood kind of the point where, you know, just because someone demands something doesn't mean the right thing to do is to say yes. But it's different when it's like, okay, you know, we do work hard. She manages the budget, so if she's wanting something, you know, she probably assumes that she can get it, and the budget will be fine. But I think it does in her case. It does show that she's worried about it a lot. So sometimes she just wants, you know, encouragement that it's okay, and I totally get that. Because also, I mean, if she's asking for stuff, it's not unreasonable. And then there's all my game stuff. There's all my game stuff. So, you know, she does the same with me a lot too. So, anyhow, so yeah, needless to say, it's really hard to surprise her. All right, I'm not even sure that there's going to be much more to this guy. Where is that? Because, like, so it's a... I mean, number one, it's a locust. Like, so here, let's share screen. Dragon's Fury. So it's like red and gray. But like there's so like even with this locust, there's so little detail on the top. I don't have a whole lot to work with. Let's see if there's more than... Nope, that's the only picture. Anyhow, so apparently like the torso, like the more elite you are, the more gray the torso becomes, which I thought was kind of cool. I didn't want to split too much, so I just went with the full gray torso. Also, the character that I picked is supposed to be like from the elite portion of like the elite portion of the faction. So I figured she would have that gray torso by now. Yeah, those are fantastic points. You know, like, and that's another thing. Like, I try to not get her much fandom stuff, mostly because she's just not into it the same way that I am. Like, she enjoys it, but like me, I want a nice action figure, or the occasional pop vinyl. Actually, I don't really want pop vinyls anymore. Even the couple that I have, I'm just like, yeet, I'm out. But yeah, for me it's pretty easy. Actually, now that the kids are older and they all have jobs, like a couple years ago, I'm like, all right, you got to start buying your mom a Christmas present. I didn't ask for one. Told them to just ignore me. I'm not worried about it. But they started buying me Christmas presents too. My kids try to surprise me, and they usually do pretty well. But we're excited. We've got a mountain of stuff. Mountain under the tree. Kim splurged on like everything on Black Friday. So she's like, cool, I'm done. And then there's me. So, hey! Ho, ho, ho! What's up, Sean? Merry Christmas, sir. And that's okay if you can't stay. I've been out of the habit just because of whatever plague I've been dealing with, but yeah, I finally feel like I'm not gonna die doing a stream. Like, even doing the stream this on Wednesday with Seraphis for our Eberron stream. Oh my gosh, I was struggling to not just choke. So, anyhow, it was rough, but today I'm feeling a bit better. So I'm guessing whatever it was some version of the new flu. There we go. I can say that. I don't know. I'm not testing for it. Just like, oh, sick. Okay. I'm not isolating in my house, but I'll minimize going out in contact. You know. There you go. Yeah, having some good content that is like I can post it. It's not quote unquote theme related, so I don't have to worry about it has to be up before Christmas, anything like that. That's always good. Well, that's good. Luckily with kids, you know, most illnesses they just kind of bounce back from anyways. So even if you do get a hospital scare, usually they're okay. Glad to hear he's home. Crazy to think of great nephew. Which also isn't that far away. I mean, it's your nephew's kid, right? I think, yes. Yes, that should be it. It was weird that it's like, goes right to great nephew. You know, as opposed to like grand nephew. Oh, that's not supposed to be that silver. That's just supposed to be the gray. That's a little plate in front of the hip. So, all right, this is hilarious. I have been using just this craft paint so much lately. It's craft paint. You know, but it's like just the shade that I want. So it's like, it's super thick. It's basically paste. What's up, Silent Mouse? But it's just like, I'm much happier with the particular color. All right. Have a good one, Sean. If I don't see you, Merry Christmas, sir. Yeah, I do not need a whole lot on this guy. I'm just going to use some dark tone. Trying to not die in the heat. Look, maybe if Australia was a real place, you'd get some real weather. Sorry, Silent Mouse. I've been teasing Seraphis like any. Well, it's time to retire that brush. I mean, it's kind of crap anyways. Sup, Hungar? Hey, Hungar, Merry Christmas, sir. Yeah, I've been teasing Seraphis about Australia not being a real place, like at least once per stream that we're on together. He seems to take it okay. He's from Victoria. They don't they don't have real weather. Actually, my favorite lately is like he'll keep complaining that it's like it's 42 degrees. It's like, well, it's 42 degrees. Go put a sweater on. And then he just glares at me. That's right. All temperatures are in freedom units. Oh, I don't know why any of you still come to my streams. You just got you went to Florida and went to the Hungar. There are so many better things to do than the hospital in Florida. Come on, man. But I'm glad you're out, sir. Freedom unit. No, freedom units are not dumb. I will admit, they are not great for, like, precision and super accuracy. Okay, Hungar, that sounds absolutely horrible. And I hope you're recovering well, sir. Anyways, freedom units are not dumb. Because they're great for just like just an estimate. You know, I don't need it to be exactly 10 feet. But if it's close enough, if I measure out with my feet 10 feet, I'm going to be roughly in the ballpark. Maybe a little less, maybe a little more, but roughly in the ballpark. You know, that ain't happening with meters. So, anyways. I can admit that freedom units are not as accurate, but they're not dumb. Why am I fighting this so much? All right, so we're gonna let the wash dry on the locust, then we'll come back to it in a little bit. And for now, we're going to work on the abominable snowman. See, it's a bomb. Because none of you were here when I was talking about that. So, because it's snow, and I went with a sort of dark layer or primer, we're gonna start bringing it up with some gray. Basically, I want to get this. It's a snowman. I want to have it ready for Christmas. Actually, that's... Oh. I should do that for the miniature showcase on Monday and Tuesday. I have 2 unofficial Warhammer ornaments. And I say unofficial because they're just miniatures. But a good friend of mine painted them for me as a gift one year. Or a couple years, actually. And so I'm hoping to have this guy ready for Wednesday. And so I can have those guys ready for Tuesday, or Monday and Tuesday. I just need to find them. They should be on the tree. They've been on the tree every single year since my friend gave them to me. One's an orc with a Santa hat and a Santa bag. And then the other is a Chaos Raptor in Christmas colors. Why he did a Chaos Raptor just in Christmas colors, I don't know. I don't ask. It was a gift from a friend. It makes me smile. This is the Red Gobbo and his abominable snowman. Kim thought it was cute when we were in a game shop. And so I bought it. And I've been slacking. And so now I'm painting it 5 days before Christmas. You're wrong. You are wrong. They force you to use their miniatures because at the end of the day, miniatures are where the money's at. Like say what, regardless of the business practices, like the money is the miniatures. and that's and only the miniatures. It's like the rules are nice. Games Workshop has enough, scaling that, yeah, they can turn a profit from everything else. But what really, really makes them money is the miniatures. Like Mantic Games, when Games Workshop ended Old School Fantasy and switched to Age of Sigmar, Mantic was like, hey, you've already got armies. Here's rules. Come over and play. And it was great because it got people playing the game. But the company doesn't survive on people just buying the rules. So eventually they had to start doing things to push people to get, miniatures from Mantic. So, and I totally understand all of that. Trust me. And I mean, I have a 3D printer. You all know that. I'm just saying that like, until Games Workshop figures out how they want, because they will eventually. They have to. But until they figure out their strategy with 3D printing, expect them to be a hard line on it. So, no, dude, I absolutely get it. Like everybody makes their choice, and I will not fault anyone for making said choice. I don't even fault you for expressing your opinion on the choice. Just keep it civil and don't get me banned. That's all I ask. Because I get it, and I get the frustration. I mean, when I started playing Warhammer, you could get a box of 10 Space Marines for $20. And have a good one, Silent Mouse. Good to see you, my friend. And again, if I don't see you, have a Merry Christmas, sir. Or whatever it is you celebrate. So yeah, that's like I get the I get the cost issue. That's why I look for used stuff. I look for budget stuff. I've been wanting the Lionel Johnson model, and we were at a swap meet at a local shop, and my son found him, I mean, out of package, but basically brand new for $40. Done. I mean, I am absolutely a cheap gamer. Christopher, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I still don't think I'm that good, but I really do appreciate it. Anyhow, but there is also... So the funny thing, you're wrong, is you're not entirely wrong. But so like I haven't really talked about it much on the channel, although I really should. I've been wanting to do like a live stream with my boys. But we started getting into some 40K. When 8th edition came out, I got a bunch of the Primaris stuff. I don't mind the Primaris stuff. And my oldest took the Death Guard. And then when Space Marine 2 came out, my youngest came to me and said, Dad, I want to start playing Warhammer. Okay, so we started getting him some models. And as I started looking at it, like outside of companies like Reaper, you know, like okay, take a box of 10 Space Marines. 10 Space Marines is about $60. You know, and so effectively that comes down to about $6 per miniature. Go look out there. Like I said, Reaper is still a really good price if they have what you need. But they're also more role-playing oriented. Even with 3D printing, you know, say picking an individual file can still be pretty expensive. So while their cost per model is still higher, absolutely not denying that. Okay, that I'm gonna 1000% agree with you on. It's weird because it's not everything. It's just like, oh, these couple of squads. But it's like, go look at like a squad of 10 Primaris intercessors. It's about $60. And you get 10. But then it's like $80 for a squad of scouts. And the only difference is you get a few tokens. I was not happy about that. And I didn't buy any. So, I mean, there's that. But then you look at like Necromunda. Necromunda, you get a box of 10 miniatures for a gang. And I think they're still $50. So that's why I say, you're not entirely wrong, but anyways. But yeah, don't worry. I mean, the channel's not going to become a Warhammer channel. I'm just going to do, like, you know, just as always, I'm going to do the things. I'm going to do the things that interest me. And if you'd like to come along and hang out, I'm happy to have you here. So, again, we can even sit here and just talk, the business of the business. Oh, I know you are. You're wrong. You've been here enough that I am not worried about. No, I actually, the thing is, like, I was actually thinking about that a lot lately. Because whenever I try to discuss something, I try to remove my passions out of it. Okay. I have my biases. I have the things that influence my decision-making process. But I try to at least understand from like a business side. So, like, okay. Show of hands. Who's seen the new Superman trailer? I've seen it. I'm a little mixed, but I'll get into why here in a second. It looks good, but it's also a trailer. Trailers are usually deceptive. But so yesterday, towards the end of my shift, somebody on my team who works the day shift posted the trailer, and everybody started kind of talking about it. And one guy's like, Therapist 53. Yes. Exactly, Therapist. Crammed is a great way to put it. We'll get into that in a second. Anyways, so there's this guy on my team, and oh my gosh, I literally cannot stand any of his takes. Dear Lord. Like, all I want to do is slap the guy. And they're all bad takes. And basically his take was Superman's a crap character. I sure hope so. I didn't think he was dark, gritty, and emo in this trailer at all. Now, I mean, it opens where he's like beat all the crap. But it did not look dark, gritty, and emo. My main issue with it, so like what was funny is like one of the supervisors for our team, like people are like, man, why can't DC ever make good movies? And one of the supervisors posts this meme where they're like, the DC cinematic or the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it's like a whole like spreadsheet of here's the movies and here's how they interconnect, blah 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 blah, and wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. And you're like, oh yeah, that's pretty much it. And then DC, they're like, okay, we need to make a movie. They're like, cool, get the blender. So they grab a blender, and then they just start putting characters into the blender and just hitting frappe on that sucker. And then I watched the trailer again, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's exactly what they did. And then I saw somebody post a thread of like, here are all the Easter eggs from the the Superman trailer, and they just went on and on and on and on. Here's this character. Here's this character. Here's this character. Here's this character. And it got me thinking, I'm like, is Superman going to have any screen time? Or is it just going to be all, New Justice League or something? Whatever. It was, oh my gosh, just give Superman a move. Anyways, so that was my complaint about the trailer. But this guy at work, it was just like, Superman's a crap character. Nobody likes him. And I'm like, what? I'm like, Superman is literally the ideal superhero. Like, if you see a superhero, somehow, it's going to tie back to Superman. Does he have a cape? Oh. Came from Superman. Does he have, and even then from Superman, it's probably came from somebody else. But I'm just going to say, like, Superman is just that ideal, what defines a hero? I mean, Superman is called the Big Blue Boy Scout for a reason. Yeah, deliberate cameos. That's not inaccurate. And he's like, yeah, but they've just wrung everything they could out of the character. I'm like, okay, you can always make more stories. There's nothing wrong with making more stories. And I'm like, yeah, but they're bad. They don't have any staying power. And then I just started breaking it down, and it's like, in my lifetime, just since I have been alive, all right? So I'm not including Super Friends. I'm not including, because technically that was 74, so that was before I was born. Yes, I realize it played until like 83, but I'm not counting that one. Make more stories? Witchcraft! What's up, Six World? But so, in my lifetime, they did a Superboy TV series. That was for like 3 seasons in like 84. Then they did Lois and Clark, and that went for like 6 seasons. They did the Superman animated series. They did the Justice. I'm going to include Justice League animated series. See ya, Chris. Merry Christmas, sir. I'm going to include the Justice League animated because, I mean, it's Superman. He's Justice League. They did Smallville, 10 seasons. Oh, Superman and Justice League animated were like 3 seasons each. They did Smallville, 10 seasons, plus they kept it going for like 3 additional seasons in comic books. They did, recently they started doing Superman and Lois, which is ongoing, I think. I think I watched like the first season, but I haven't watched any since. Regardless, it's still going. My point is, it's still getting made. Yeah, you're not wrong. However, that's ancillary to the point. It still went for 10 years. They had 10 seasons on TV. So, you can't say that it ain't successful, that it was not successful and did not have staying power. Heck, I watched it not that long ago. And then let's see, they've done a new animated Superman like within the last year or two. They've done Like, and that's just television. There's all the old, like the Christopher Reeves movies. Say what you will about 3 and 4. They weren't great. They were Superman movies. They did the Brandon Routh Superman movie. They did the Henry Cavill Superman movie. At least like I think at least one, maybe 2, or maybe it was the Justice League movie. Whatever. My point is that, anyways, and the funny thing is, I'm not even the biggest fan of Superman. I'll admit it. I'm a Batman fan. I kind of like the dude. Anyways, so yeah, just this like legendarily bad take from this guy at work, and it's just like, bruh. So, anyways, to loop it all back around, that's kind of how I try to approach stuff, is not from, you know, like at least like in a debate or an argumentative setting. I don't try to approach it. I try to approach it a little more dispassionately and look at it from a business standpoint. You know, did it achieve its objectives? You know, sometimes you can make the argument like, okay, you know, season 1 and season 2, fine, but then it went sideways. Like, okay, I'll use this as an example, and probably none of you will have a clue as to what I'm talking about. The War of the Worlds TV show. All right, I remember it. I think I still have the DVD somewhere. But I remember it because it came out at the same time as Star Trek The Next Generation. So Star Trek The Next Generation premiered, and then the next week, because Star Trek was 2 hours that first week, the next week they had this War of the Worlds TV show. And I didn't really know what it was at the time. And so I watched it. And anyways, like, so the first season was sort of like, think of it kind of like X-Files. It was before X-Files when it came out. But so it comes out, and so that's the thing. I mean, it's a modern setting. You know, the aliens are hiding among us, and it was cool, and I enjoyed it. Which is funny, because I don't really do scary stuff. Anyways, so needless to say, season 1 was pretty good. And then season 2. And in season 2, they changed it. I don't know why. And it went from this, you know, modern, you know, aliens hiding among us kind of story to to more of a like Max Headroom, post-apocalyptic, cyberpunk kind of weird thing. And I stopped watching it. I was like, I don't enjoy this anymore. So, was it bad? I don't know, probably because they canceled it. But that's what I mean is like, yeah, you kind of have to look at it as, was it accomplishing its objectives? Its objectives, get people to watch. Was there anybody watching it? No. Otherwise they wouldn't have canceled it. So it's like with Superman, okay, you may not necessarily, like, and clearly this guy at work did not like Superman as a character, but you have to acknowledge the character for what the character is. You know, like, okay, here's another example. Stephenie Meyer's Twilight. I will go to my grave saying vampires don't sparkle. But you know what? She made a bucket of money. And as far as her fans are concerned, yeah, they do. And so, am I going to watch Twilight? No. Am I going to read Twilight? No. But can I look at it and say, okay, what is it that made Twilight successful? You know, why do people still enjoy it? She's that's what got the unsub you're wrong. Hey, and you know what? And that's fine. So, did she do what she set out to do? You know, yes, she set out to write a story, which she absolutely accomplished that. And then she managed to keep entertaining people with her stories. So at the end of the day, I'm never going to say that Twilight was unsuccessful or bad books or movies. I will say that they were not for me. But they were not, you know, they were not unsuccessful. And so that's how I try to look at things. So even looping it back a little bit even farther, that's how I look at Games Workshop. I look at stuff they've done. I look at the mistakes that they've made. I may have some issues with the company. Like for me, mostly, I just buy books. You know, I buy some models here and there. You know, depending on what I'm trying to do. Sometimes I want, Like, I do want some official stuff, but I already have a lot. You know, so I just need to get to painting most of it. And mostly I just have it so that I can do official stuff. I can go down to the I can go down to the Warhammer store with my boys, you know, and play. You know, that's really how I look at it. I think many of these gaming companies and many mega companies in America in general were created in times with limited markets, and they're dying because people don't have to go to them anymore. I mean, that's not... It's not necessarily wrong either. You know, is that business adapting? That's why I said eventually Games Workshop is going to have to address the 3D printing. I should cover it more, but I'm bad at this. Mantic Games. For their miniatures, they still do put stuff in the store. But they also have the vault, and they put tons of stuff in the vault. So like there are, like, if you want to play, you know, Armada for Kings of War, you know, it's a ship game. You can get everything for 3D printer and go to town. You can get they're now doing Vanguard, which is a fantasy skirmish game, and you're going to be able to get it all in 3D printer. But for like their big stuff, for Warpath, for Kings of War, you know, they don't have everything available for 3D printer. But what they did, so the strategy that they're taking, instead of printing, or it's like, okay, like, okay, so there's these ogre knights or paladins or something for Kings of War, and there's an advanced upgrade, and I forget what they're called, so we're just going to call them like the Guardian Champions or something. I forget what they're called. Doesn't matter. Anyways, basically it takes the Ogre Paladins, swaps in some resin bits, and you get the Temple Champions. Well, instead of making a separate box or an upgrade kit or whatever. Instead, what they did is, okay, you go to the store and you buy the Ogre Paladins box. And if you want the Temple Champions, just get the 3D printer files and just print those off. So what it's done is it's made it so that Mantic doesn't have to store Ogre Temple Champions. They've just got to carry Ogre Paladins. And instead of having to get a game shop to carry 2 SKUs, they only have to offer 1. So, store gets a little bit, Mantic gets a little bit, 3D printer gets a little bit. And I think long term, I think that's what we're going to see more of. Because I think it's a good way to do it. It helps like one of the biggest issue with the 3D printing is the intellectual property. Say what you will, but it's worth a lot of ducats. So you got to protect it. And so I think long term, I think Games Workshop will move over to something along those lines. And Mantic just uses like the typical subscription model. It's like you don't get as much as some of the 3D printer design services. Like they're like, here's an entire army's worth of models for $10. And you're like, really? So it's not as many models, but it's still quite a bit. And who knows? Maybe eventually Mantic will just go all 3D printer. I don't know. I don't think so. But who knows? But yeah, the industry is definitely changing. you know, as I was saying, try to look at it like, you know, have a good one. You're wrong. Thanks for hanging out, bud. But it's not always making these changes because the company is evil. Sometimes the company is evil, or the person running is evil. But sometimes it's just a business decision that we don't like. So, anyhow. This is actually making me work a little harder than I normally do on my painting. Yeah, that therapist, that's a whole other issue.
My gosh, the hands are so whiny.
Like, and that yeah, I mean, and there's a lot of that goes on. Like, some of it I don't blame them for. Like, limited edition books or special limited edition tokens, things like that. I get why they do it, but I do wish they were a little less aggressive sometimes. Like put more of the stuff into like pre-orders or something, you know? Or I don't know, maybe print more than 3. Like, speaking of the Dark Angels, I would have kind of liked the Dark Angel Army box. My boys could have all pitched in on it for Christmas. But no. Yeah, it's definitely not irrational, that's for sure. And I do think it can be used, quote unquote, correctly. Are they doing it correctly? I don't know. That's a whole separate issue. But it is what it is. Sorry if something's out of focus. But yeah, for like limited edition stuff, like for me, it's usually nice, but I don't have to have it. The red is not a cloak, it's a coat. It's a Santa coat. See? It's a coat. Anyway. Sorry. So I am gonna lighten it up, but I started with some Pro Acryl Burnt Red. Basically, I'm trying to step up my game here. Normally, it's like one color, wash, call it good. But I'm trying to do some layers, and eventually I'll do some, like, I'm putting in the base layer right now, but like, so I've got like the yellow green for the goblin skin, but then I've got some bright yellow greens. I'm going to come in and do some highlights like on the nose, tips of the ears, point of the chin, things like that. I don't normally do that because lazy. I mean, that's the real reason. But for this, because this is I realize they have rules for it, but for me this isn't a play piece. This is just a fun Christmas decoration. Like, I am you know, Christian, and I do celebrate Christmas for what it represents.
But I also like having fun.
So, you know, does the Red Gobbo mix with the nativity set? Not really. Am I going to put it there? Probably. Yeah, well, then I'm a heretic, I guess. I mean, some people would say that about me anyways.
I need to make sure that I
reshare my Christmas post from last year. I was very proud of that. I will post it on Tuesday. Oh, there you go. Yeah, I use the monument hot. Okay. All right. You want to get me to complain about Games Workshop? That's where I'll complain. I will complain every single time. No regrets.
their paint. Dear Lord, they like that. They rip people off of, or with.
22 milliliters is about 50% more than what you get from a Games Workshop paint pot. And it's about $1 or $2 less than a Games Workshop paint pot. There's no reason I'm ever buying a Games Workshop paint. I can't. I can't do it. It's that. Is practically highway robbery. But it's also audience capture. You know, all of the painting guides in White Dwarf. It's all Citadel colors. Can you find a match? Probably. But you've got to find a match. Or you've got to mix a match. So, yeah, that's so that's the weird thing. Like, I don't use okay. I have a whole crap ton of paint over here. None of that just put right in front of me. And it's all Vallejo, Army Painter, Reaper, etc. So I need to wean myself off of those. But like, I haven't used the titanium white yet. But that's the other thing is like, I've actually found I kind of like this this bright neutral gray. Okay, it's just slightly off.
great. But then I've also been using, like, because I have it, I just use this this cold white from Vallejo when I need a little bit of white. But that's the other thing, is I don't really go with white. So, hey, look at this guy. He's dry. I'm pretty happy with where the wash settled. So, let's do these. Because I need to get this guy done. Long brush. But yeah, the pro acrylic paints, I haven't done like. I need to just like do an actual review for the channel. I'm not sponsored. They don't give me anything for it, but you know. It's what I've been using for. Did I buy it this year or did I buy it last year? I think it was this year. Actually, I think it was last year. Yeah, I bought the paint last year, but I bought the bag this year, the transport case. Do. Excuse me 1 second. Oh, that's right. Okay. Whatever. Cockpit color. Green. We're gonna go with green. Yeah, it just the monument hobby stuff. I mean, maybe it's because I'm painting a lot more often, but it doesn't feel like it needs to be mixed as much. The colors seem more consistent. And your bright colors still have the same problem that all bright colors have.
That's not a problem. I'm not sure if these laser colors are right, but I'm gonna go with them.
That's not good. All right. We are at an hour and a half. I have been up all night. I have been sleeping like crap, but I needed to do this. So, cool.
Oh, you know what? We can do one last thing, and we'll call it done. The one time I actually use black paint anymore, as opposed to very, very dark gray. I know it's pretty simple and basic, but
Kind of prefer it.
just keep the base simple, and then it doesn't matter what type of map I'm playing on. I can play in the snow. I can play in the desert. I can play in the grasslands. Whatever. It's a black base. It's fine. I had considered pulling everything off of their bases and putting them on acrylic, but that's a lot of work. Instead, I just paint it black. And it's fine.
All right. Done and dusted.
All right, on that note, I'm going to let him dry. I'm going to let my gobbo bits dry. We will come back and we will
Take this on again probably Monday. I don't know. We'll see what we're doing. It's going to be Christmas week. Everything's going to be a mix. So, anyways, folks, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for keeping me company in chat. I really appreciate it. But I do hope all of you have a very Merry Christmas. If you don't celebrate Christmas, whatever your holiday is, I hope you enjoy it. Otherwise, even if not, I hope everything goes well for you. So, with that said, hit the like button on your way out. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.